Hi, Geraint. It's Brad from Peloton Magazine.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, good. A bit tired. Just getting a massage, but all good.
Okay, great. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Perfect.
From Peloton Magazine, this is Aérogramme Talks, presented by Pinarello. We had a chance to talk with Tour de France winner Geraint Thomas in February while he was racing the Tour of Algarve. It's a glimpse into a pre-COVID-19 race world when he was looking ahead to the Tour de France. It's also a nostalgic conversation, considering how the world has turned upside down since then. And it's still relevant and compelling as Geraint talks about his Southern California training regime and his mental strength in Grand Tours.
Thank you, by the way, for taking the time. I really appreciate it.
No worries. Sorry it's taken a while.
That's okay. Hey, so I wanted to start with your time in Los Angeles, where our offices are here and we all grew up here, and just wanted to see what it was about Malibu and Southern California that attracts you, and sort of tell us about your time here and your training and what it was like for you.
Yeah, well, basically, it all started because I wanted to change. I got taught down under for maybe 7 years on the bounce, and just fancied a bit of a change. And was speaking to Cameron Worth mainly.
Yeah.
He's an Ironman triathlete, and he was based out there quite a lot. And I spoke to a few other guys, a few of the American guys like Boswell and TJ, and they all said that it was a good place to train for January. And then my wife also has family there. She has a cousin there.
Okay.
So that was the initial reason, really, to, went out in 2018. And then obviously that year went quite well. So ended up going back in 2019 and again this year. And it's just, I just really like it down there. Like, I love it. It's, just the people and the way of life is just chilled. And you can just, I can go there with a family. I can get away from Europe, and the time difference makes a big difference. So I don't, my phone's a lot quieter than what it normally is in the evenings, because everyone's asleep obviously over here. And the weather's great. The Santa Monica Mountains, the climbs out there are all good, and the PCH and all the canyons from there is just ideal for what I need to do in January. And the people down there are a lot friendlier than back home as well. So. It's just a great place to start the year for me.
Perfect. Were you able to take in any other professional games or any of the sort of the LA offerings when you were here?
This year I didn't, because we had a baby. He was like 3 months old when we flew out. So life off the bike has changed slightly in that regard. But in 2019 we went to a Rams game, one of the playoff games, which was awesome.
Okay.
And we've also been to a Lakers game the year before. So that was cool. That was good to take all that in.
Good. I had a chance to watch your documentary, The Road Will Decide, and it was really great, by the way. In one moment, Dave Brailsford mentioned sort of your mental game, how you have this ability to shut off and compartmentalize over a 3-week period. How important is that mental game to you and that sort of emotional pacing? And do you work on that, or is that just your nature?
Yeah, I think part of it comes naturally, but you definitely have to work on it, because it's such a pressure cooker during the tour. And but it's kind of like how I treat everything, really. Like, for instance, going out there to LA and just being in my own little world and bubble there, it's a similar thing. It's just worry about myself, don't get drawn into what anybody else is doing, and when it comes to the racing, like how they're racing and stuff, just stick with my plan and what I want to do, and just staying positive and not letting little setbacks sort of play on your mind, and you just got to put that to one side, and because it's 3 weeks of racing, every day is important, and just because one day doesn't go to plan doesn't mean the other 20 won't. So it's that sort of mentality the whole time. But it does take a lot of work. I think I was lucky that riding the track, that played a big part in mentally. it together, and you can win a medal by less than a tenth of a second. So, any mistake is massive. So I think dealing with that pressure certainly helped, and I've taken a lot of those sort of skills and stuff with me onto the road now.
Great. You also mentioned in the documentary the sort of the monotony of the Tour de France. The different hotels you wake up, press conference. There's a rhythm that after a while you sort of begin to crave. Can you explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, you kind of just get set into your little routine, really. Like you say, you wake up, you go to breakfast, you get your bag, you go on the bus, you go to the start, you have your team meeting, you race, you finish, you have all your sort of recovery protocol, you're back on the bus, you to the hotel, massage, food, and go back to bed, and you just repeat, and it just kind of, the habit and the routine of that is just something you end up craving, and you're just enjoying, and you just sort of get wrapped up in that, and I don't know, it's a way of just sort of dealing with it, I guess. And it's how we are, like, when we're training as well, to be honest. Like, even now with the little one at home, just have our set routine every day where I think we just find, what I do anyway, comfort in that. And even though it can be a bit monotonous sometimes, like, in the off-season, after 2 weeks of just waking up whenever and doing whatever and not really having any structure, you crave the structure again. So, I think just getting ingrained in you. Like, I've been professional cyclist for 14 years now, so it's just a habit. It's just how I sort of live, I guess.
And you started Watts Occurring this year at the Tour de France. How have you enjoyed that process and storytelling and interviews? And tell us about that.
Yeah, it was just something different. Like, Luke came up with the idea, so the idea of doing a podcast together during the tour, so we could talk about the race and stuff, and give a little bit of a different insight into everything, and it seemed to go down well, so we carried on doing it. Now it's turned into a bit of like getting different guests on.
Yep.
But it's very you just do it as and when. There's not much planning. It's not very professional, to be honest, but it's just as we are, basically, and just have a chat about random stuff, and it seems to go down quite well. So I think we'll just continue to do it for a while. And
Baines Brewery is your sponsor, and I read that they have a G beer, correct?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so Baines, they're actually located in Cardiff, where I'm from.
Okay.
And it's a big Welsh brewery company. But yeah, it's a bit different. So basically Baines, they have like maybe 80 odd pubs around Wales, and
okay.
Yeah, it's in there, so you can just walk in and ask for a pint of G, which is a bit different.
That's great. So this year, obviously, the tour and the Olympics being your focus on. For the tour, having won it, do you approach it maybe with a little bit more of a relaxed attitude because you've stood on the top step of the podium, and how are you looking at it this year?
Yeah, I think so. I think relaxed in not in a detrimental way, but in the fact that I'm not sort of desperate.
Yeah.
I know I've done it, and I'm confident I know how to do it, and I can do it again. And it just takes a bit of that, desperation away, I guess. When it comes to the training side, you might push a bit too hard in certain areas, or push your diet a bit too much, or when it comes to the race, you might, be a bit too keen and make the wrong decisions, and, race too aggressively or not aggressive enough. And so I think just be a lot more relaxed in that regard, but still sort of, I still feel I can perform in that race, and it's the biggest race in the world. So, I'm still motivated to go there and do the best I can. And the way I see it is just get there 100% as good as I can be, and then you start the race, and the rest takes care of itself then. Like Steve Peters, psychologist who worked with us a bit on the track, he'd always used to say, you're going to go out there and you're going to just give your best. You're not going to go out and purposely try to fail. If you make mistakes, that happens, but learn from it and try not to make those same mistakes again. But just get out there and enjoy it. You're in the best shape of your life and in the biggest sort of sporting arena that I can be in. So try to just soak it up and enjoy it.
Great. When you were in LA, I noticed one post on Twitter where it was just about training and that some rides are a fight from the start, I think you said. And I think all of us that are non-professionals can relate to that. Kind of tell us about your training. Are you know, is training something you really look forward to? Or are you more of a race day athlete? And how do you approach that?
No, I enjoy racing. But I also enjoy the training side of things as well. Like I like just to ride my bike, and yeah, obviously some days are tough. You know, when you have it's the first time I started doing efforts as well in the winter, so it was a bit of a shock to the system, and it was quite tough going. But yeah, I do enjoy all aspects of it really. Like obviously we train so we can perform well in races, and that's ultimately why we do it, but I enjoy the process as well. Like I like going away to Tenerife, and you know, we stay on top of a volcano there at altitude over 2,000 meters. Yeah, it's pretty isolated up there, you know, it's just a hotel and there's not much else going on around there. But yeah, like I say, we get into that routine and everyone's training really hard and, you know, eating super healthy, and you know, I think just love all that side of things as well.
Great. And you've ridden obviously a lot of bikes in your career. Is anything about the F12? We have a couple here that we've been reviewing, and is there anything special that stands out to you on that specific bike that you love?
I think its versatility. You know, it's great. You know, when you're accelerating and things, it feels like a lot. You know, everything that's going through the pedals is actually giving you momentum and going forward. And you know, it's the handling going down descents is good. And yeah, obviously going uphill, it's light and efficient there as well. So you know, it's a bit like Formula One cars. Like every year, you kind of think, well, it's hard to improve on that, but a new version comes out which is better, and every time. But to be honest, the F10 still have a soft spot for that. Yeah, that's the one I won the tour on. But yeah, no, it's just it's always nice getting a nice bit of new kit.
Well, awesome, Geraint. Thank you very much for your time, and I really appreciate you making the time in the middle of a race, and it's much appreciated.
Pleasure.
We hope you enjoyed this talk. Please check out our magazine at pelotonmagazine.com and subscribe to Aérogramme so you don't miss an episode.